Week 5 of the 2023-24 NBA season is over, which means it's time to run it back. This is Run It Back, NBA Week in Review. I'm Jose Salviati, editor at thebeachbasket.net, and this is the show where we recap the week that was in the NBA and then discuss the NBA question of the day as we prepare for the week to come. This season, we'll have a guest join us each week. Today, I'm excited to welcome nobody. Man, it's a holiday weekend. Of course not, we're not going to have anybody on today. I hope everyone watching, everyone on our team and everyone watching had a great Thanksgiving. We will have a guest again starting next week. We'll start, though, like we do every week, with the only objective NBA power rankings anywhere. You can read more about how we get to these objective rankings on thebeachbasket.net. Before I launch this, I do want to say that we post this early on TikTok, and we've already got a little bit of rumbling around the objective power rankings because of one team in particular. We'll get to them in a minute. But I want to call out, man, these are objective. It's just wins and losses, strength of schedule rankings. So it's hard to get mad at these. You may not like where your team lands, but it's just based on wins and losses, who they beat, and where. Before we get to the top 10 across all conferences, or both conferences, we want to call out that there are 3 teams out and 3 teams into the top 10 this week. Out are the Sacramento Kings, the Denver Nuggets, the world champs, and the Indiana Pacers. In, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's see where they all land in this week's power rankings. The only objective NBA power ranking anywhere. Welcome to the top 10 Milwaukee Bucks. Still struggling defensively, but obviously very dangerous offensively. The Mavericks dropped one spot to number 9 after a winless week 5. I don't think there's any concern in Dallas, but they had a rough week, and that's going to happen. The Los Angeles Lakers, though, had a perfect week 5, going 3-0, including a win over the number 9 Mavs to jump back into the top 10 to go 8. The New York Knicks continue to hold down the fort at number 7 for a third week in a row. Not a bad spot for the Knicks, who look to be improved. The Sixers are appropriately number 6. They dropped 2 spots after a 2-2 week. Now, the Houston Rockets, they're for real. They went 2-2 also in week 5, but they jumped up 4 spots because of a quality win against the Denver Nuggets. The Celtics come in at number 4 after a 2-2 week themselves, dropping 1 from number 5. And this is where it gets a little dicey. The Orlando Magic join the top 10 at number 3 after a perfect 4-0 week. They're also number 1 in the East. And that's what people are having a hard time with. I see the misspelling, the Orlando Magic, apologies there. Number 2 belongs to OKC Thunder. Despite some drama, they went 2-1. In week number 5, we're not going to talk about the drama. Let's see how it plays out. The top spot once again belongs to the Minnesota Timberwolves after a 2-1 week. That's the objective top 10 list for week number 5. If you want to see where all 30 teams land, please visit thepeachbasket.net. Now let's shift our focus to the players. These are the best to do it by average in week number 5 of the 2023-24 NBA season. I want to call out again, these are the best by average for only week number 5, not the best by average overall. These are just the best players to do it by average in week 5. Let's see who they are. Now, points is no surprise. Trae Young is doing Trae Young things. Nice Trae is spectacular. He averaged 35.7 points in week number 5 to lead the NBA. Let's see, assists. Fred VanVleet. The Houston Rockets are suddenly very good, and VanVleet has a lot to do with that, 11.3 assists. Rebounds. This is what I love about doing this. Mark Williams, somebody I'd never heard of, led the NBA in rebounds, 15.5 for the Charlotte Hornets. Steals, DeJounte Murray had the most, 2.7 steals per game in week 5. And blocks, Miles Turner, 3.5 blocks per game. You can expect to see him here more often than not in the coming weeks. Those are the best to do it by average. Now, we're going to keep our focus on the players and look at the best to do it overall in week number 5. The best dunk, dime, deny, dagger, dazzler, and dud of the week. We used to call this NBA 6D, which we probably could again. It's kind of cool. It makes sense. So these are the best, not the best by average, but the best overall. Let's see if you agree with this list. the best to do it in the NBA in week number 5. The dagger belongs to Miles Bridges with the overtime dagger against the Boston. Great shot, great win. The best dime belongs to Luka Doncic. This is such a creative pass. He nutmegged LeBron James. Almost disrespectful Luka. The best dunk, Jaylen Brown came up with his windmill against the Milwaukee Bucks. The denies. Look at this block into the 4th row by Gary Payton. Phenomenal block. The dazzler LeBron James. Nothing spectacular about this shot except that it was the 39,000th career. He's impressive. The dud, the Spurs crowd. Now listen, there's a lot of controversy about whether Pop was right or wrong to do what he did. I don't think the dud belongs to the Spurs crowd because they booed Kawhi necessarily. You certainly have a right. But because they booed Pop. And after he did what he did, they booed louder. That's just not cool. I mean, you got to give some respect to the best coach to ever do it. The Spurs crowd gets the dud of the week for booing Coach Pop. Finally, we end with the NBA question of the day. Now, this one is going to be a little, I don't know, let's call it controversial. It might be. And I'm kind of excited to not have someone to bounce this off of because these are my thoughts and my thoughts alone. I would be very interested in getting yours. Leave them in the comments. There was a lot of talk this week about the NBA refs. Scott Foster got into it with CP3 again. And, we've had some really weird, ejections. Giannis got ejected for a dunk and mini celebration. There's a lot of, controversy certainly around the refs right now. And that leads us to the question of the day. Is it time to consider, and let me add, seriously consider robot referees? All right. Now, I'll be pretty straightforward here with my thoughts on this question. Yes, it's time to at least seriously consider the possibility. All right. MLB is experimenting with it. And I think it's only a matter of time before they begin to implement pieces of it. And I think the NBA needs to follow suit. The NBA has been great about, being creative. The play-in tournament one, the in-season tournament another. And I think you've got to do this. Number one, because it's possible. And number two, because we're seeing this influx of problems with referees and problems with the players. Chris Paul said it's personal between him and Scott Foster. You can't have that. You've got to eliminate that. And robot refs or really AI refereeing is going to be able to do that. Here's how you do it. Number one, you put a sensor in the ball. Simple. We've got sensors in everything today. Put one in the basketball. It's not going to impact the bounce. It's not going to impact the game. But when you have that now, all of a sudden you can eliminate, you can call these calls correctly, rather. Was the ball at its highest peak? Did the ball hit the backboard first? All of a sudden these controversial block calls, they go away. Who touched it last? Was the shot on time? Was it still touching a fingertip before it hit 0-0? All of these calls are called and called correctly. No 5-minute reviews, no stoppage of play, and no interaction with a referee you may not like. The rest would have to be overseen by several cameras, right? You need multiple cameras so you can cover every angle of the game. Once you have that, you can correctly call an 8-second violation, a 24-second shot clock violation, fouls on drives. Was somebody touched or not touched? Were they vertical? Were they not vertical? Defensive 3 seconds in the lane. All of these calls are immediately called by all of the cameras and AI monitoring the game. I think you need one ref, someone to go out there, tip the ball up or toss the ball up at jump and then get out of the way, and they can oversee the game. Listen, I get that it's not popular. I get that it's not it's a little uncomfortable, the thought of playing the game without refs. Think back 2020, we played the game without any crowds, and it was weird, sure, but the game went on. I think it's time to start looking at this, because when it starts to get personal between players and refs, there's a real problem. Now, in addition to a sensor in the ball and cameras everywhere, I think you eliminate the charge block rule. It's actually really, really dangerous. Just eliminate that. Just play that like you would any other play. You have a cleaner game, no refs, no drama, no BS, just basketball. I think it's time, and I would be surprised if this isn't on a whiteboard in the NBA offices somewhere. It's going to happen slowly but surely over time. I think it's going to happen, and I'm here for it. That's it. Week number 5 of the 2023-24 NBA season is in the books. Please join us next week after week number 6 when we once again run it back. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays ahead. We'll talk again next week.
Pick and roll, post up, crossover, step through, step back, corner 3, dribble, drive to the hoop. We provide hoop news, hoop court truths, voice of the fan, win or lose. In-depth reports, locker room to the court. Peace basket can grasp all facets of the sport. So look here, lend the air in the air is the sound of hoop fanatics in the atmosphere. Your expectations, we will surpass it. Attractive like a magnet, tuned in the peach basket. Live broadcasting, even podcasted. Got a question, don't hesitate to ask it. Intelligent news with no static. Turn on your tablet when you gotta have it. Drop updates quick like a rabbit. We got the answers, check out Peach Basket. Peach Basket, Peach Basket. Peach basket, peach basket, peach basket, peach basket. The voice of the fan, the voice of